last year, I spoke second or third, or maybe even fourth, and I had about 10 minutes prepared, which was what I was asked to do here tonight. And by the time I came up last year, someone had gone over pretty much all of what I wanted to speak on. So this year, I prepared about 30 minutes worth, so I'm going to kind of cut to the chase and hopefully not take anyone else's thunder on this. I've been addressing the community in one fashion or another since about 2000 on drug awareness. And I've always made the statement that I feel like I'm preaching to the choir in doing these, because the people that come out are the ones that are concerned, and you're the ones that are going to take note. But I've changed my philosophy. Because awareness is so important, you are the people that we do need to be addressing, so that you go out and put this message to others that aren't here. For the longest time, this county wore what I call rose-colored glasses to the drug problem, but with the efforts of programs like this, awareness has become a lot greater in Pocahontas County, and that's a good thing. That's the first step. If you think back 10 years ago to where we were with this anti-smoking campaign, look at the changes that have happened in just 10 years. So we're on the right track. A big problem with the underage drinking, and it ties into the underage drugs, is the social acceptance of that. I was looking through a yearbook from when I was in high school here at Pocahontas County, and believe it or not, one of the photos talked about students relaxing and doing some fishing before competing in a track meet. And in that picture was the picture of a case of beer. Now, I'm sure that is probably embarrassing to those of us that were around and involved in that at that time. But that's the difference that has happened, at least till now, on underage drinking, is that that's no longer acceptable. So we're making strides, but it's going to take a long time to wear down the social acceptance of underage drinking. Also, want to tie into that also goes prescription sharing. And that's where if I go to the dentist and have a tooth pulled and I get some hydrocodones for pain, and I end up only taking one, and the rest set in my medicine cabinet. And then some months later, someone in my family falls off of something and hurts their back, and they're in serious pain. Well, what's the first thing we think to do? Hey, I've got some hydrocodone left over from that toothache. We have got to stop that. We have got to start the changing that social acceptance of drug sharing. One of the biggest questions that we get asked about from a prosecutor standpoint is what aspects of the laws are weak? I'll have to be honest, we really don't know if there's any weaknesses in the laws, and for fear of getting fired tomorrow by my boss or the sheriff getting upset with this statement, or Judge Pomponia not being happy with this statement, enforcement is where we're weak. And we're weak with the enforcement because people, the community, is not standing up and saying, we want something done about this. We want you to arrest for these issues. We want you to prosecute these issues. We want you to sentence for these issues. And until the community and the public stand up and say, this is what we want, it's too easy to fall back to what's been socially acceptable. Take a scenario. Young man at a ball game, clearly under the age of 21, gets caught drinking. The officer, in most cases, and I've been there, I was an officer at one time, what we want to do at that point, we don't want to see a young person get in trouble. We don't want to mark their record. So we want to call the parents and see if the parents will take responsibility. And if the parents are willing to do so, problem solved. The parents are aware of it. Everyone seems to be happy at that point. But we're further promoting the social acceptance of it because nothing really happens. Okay, take it to the next level, the prosecution level. The prosecutor calls the parents in with the child or young person, and the issue is talked about. The prosecutor doesn't want to put a mark on that young person's record. It's going to follow them in job interviews later in life, possibly. I mean, juvenile issues can't follow this. You see what I'm saying? The parents declare, the student declares, we'll take care of this. This will not happen again. It will not be a problem again. Okay, maybe, and then a lot of times that person, that young person, goes on and doesn't get in any more trouble. However, you have all these other young people that realize, hey, nothing really happened. Once again, we're promoting the social acceptance, and on it goes. So it requires the community to come together and make a stand and say, this is what we want. To do that, you need to understand what we're fighting, and I'm going to focus primarily on drugs here. We have got to fight both the supply and the demand on the drug problem. As long as there's some dirtbag out there that's willing to sell drugs to young people, there will be young people that buy them. Therefore, we have to fight the supply. The law enforcement has to be given the time and the tools to fight that fight and bring these people to justice. But at the same time, the demand, there will be people out there that have problems. We also have to rehabilitate those people that have the issues, because as long as there's someone out there that's a drug addict and has a drug problem, then someone will come in to sell those drugs to them. So you can't just attack it on the supply or the demand level. So you as a community have to say to your leaders, we want this done. We want to stop the supply, we want to stop the demand. And it has to be attacked together. How can you do this? Community Corrections Program needs your support. Teen courts just now getting started. You'll hear more about that later. You need to support these programs. The Pocahontas Prevention Coalition is making great strides. And the Family Resource Network. Support these community efforts. That is one way to do that. What I would love to see is parents, students, community members, residents take the initiative and form your own group. A lot of these groups that are formed by government entities and folks that are, I attend the Pocahontas County Prevention Coalition, but some could see that as, well, if you're the assistant prosecutor, you should be there. If a group of folks, parents, students, community members get together and form their own group, that's a strong voice. And the more the better. Get the word out there, the awareness. We all remember what an effect Mothers Against Drunk Driving had. That started somewhere in a smaller community just like this one. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Bill Rock from Snowshoe. I think I've gone over my 10 minutes. So thank you very much. We're going to answer questions after each one's presentation. So please keep thoughts. If I've gone over something too quickly, ask it.